Hi guys, thought we would take a quick look at this filter. This is an inline filter, one that you'd see on the back of a piece of mains equipment. So this is the IEC socket that you would see on the back of the machine, and this contains a filter. So input mains from this socket and then the output from these terminals to the equipment. So this is a piece of old equipment that I've just bought, plugged it in, and I got a cloud of smoke out of the machine. When I opened it up, this is how I found the filter. So you can see that it's been pushed open. The casing, that's not going to close anymore. So whatever's happened inside has ruptured and pushed out the casing. But I thought it just might be interesting to have a look at what's inside this and see what damage has been done. So if we look at the diagram here, this is almost identical to another video that I've just done where I replaced a filter in a Commodore PET, and you can see here it's the same arrangement. So we've got an inductor, 1.6 millihenry inductor. This is the mains coming in on the left hand side there through the inductor, and then we've got an X-class capacitor across the live and neutral, which I'm expecting that is probably what's failed in this filter. And then we've got two Y-class capacitors, one between neutral and earth and one between live and earth. We have a look at the edge there. Don't know whether you can see, but there's a telltale sign of the yellow RIFA capacitor. I'm expecting that's what's going to be the failure in this. So let me get this apart. Not sure how it comes apart, but I'll get some tools and prise it open, and we'll take a look. Some rivets on the end here. I had to drill those out from the casing, and I replaced it with another socket. Let's see if I can get these out with this pliers. Absolutely stinks, this thing. The smoke that came off it was really awful. Let's have the window open for a few minutes. You can see it's, you might be able to see there's black residue inside. Okay, so looks as though there's 3 RIFA capacitors in here. This one is one of the class Y capacitors, so this is one of these two here, and the other one is on the other side. They look okay. It's this one here. So this is the X class, And this is right across the mains, so it's not fused at all. There's no fuse before this capacitor. So plug it in straight from the mains. If your main socket has got a high ampage fuse, then all of that is going to go into this capacitor when it fails, which is why it's so destructive. You can see the inductor there, so there's a common core, and there's two windings on that, which are the two windings shown there. So let's snip these connectors. That's quite a mess in there. Can't actually see a RIFA brand on this capacitor, but it's certainly a very similar colour to a RIFA capacitor, and it's failed in the same way that I'd expect these old capacitors to. But yeah, you can see the back of there. So what happens to these capacitors, this brittle casing, there's a crack there, you can see right across there. That crack was probably there prior to the failure, and moisture will get into that capacitor, and that's what causes this to react. You can see that core of that capacitor there is just blown out. The other two still look okay. But yeah, that's a typical failure for these old devices when they've got one of these capacitors in there. These old Class X capacitors. So something to watch out for. If you do see the smoke on a machine, of course just turn the power off, but normally it doesn't do any harm to the machine, because this is just the mains input before it's got to any of the computer or whatever equipment it is. So it might look worrying when you see a big cloud of smoke out the back, but more often than not you just replace this bad filter or bad capacitor, and you're good to go. Hope you enjoyed a quick look at the destruction of that capacitor, and I will see you on the next one.